American Dream. She felt the wetness between her legs as she sat on the bathroom floor. The pains that had racked her body subsided for a moment, and with a quick breath, she gave up host. She then took notice of the cracked beige tile. The splintered lines stood out in a vibrant relief against the red stain that spread from under her still twitching thighs. She had asked Andrew to replace the tile. It was chipped when they moved in. She could feel the roughness of the concrete slab against her pink feet when she got out of the shower. She had bought 2 little woven rugs at a flea market in Santa Monica by the pier. Andrew had said that they looked more like placemats, and so she had set dinner for the 2 of them on the bathroom floor that night. He laughed then as he sipped his wine, his back against the glass door of the shower. She lit 2 tea candles and lined them up along the edge of the sink before serving dessert. On Palm Sunday, he took her down the coast to a salvage yard off the freeway. She brushed the sea salt from her hair as they picked through piles of plywood, doors, and lone windows sparkling in the sun. Andrew was the one who found the aquamarine tiles scattered like jellyfish in the sand. "It'll match his room," he said, before filling a cardboard box with the blue ceramic squares. "Blue for the Yankee Doodle Dandy," they said. Their summer baby, their great American dream. She looked now at the white grid of the bathroom floor, all those intersecting lines, merging and repeating. They divided again and again, each tile following one another, each one seemingly identical. On nights when she couldn't sleep, when Andrew was on call, and she would scrub the grout with ammonia and soap. She would watch the stains fade as her knees pressed into the cold ground, until they ached and she could sit back, relieved that she felt something. Looking now at her body, limbs splayed and limp, the wetness seeping into the cracks, filling rough spaces, saturating everything, she felt the impulse to clean again, or more than that, to tear up each tile, digging fingers into dirt, ripping and smashing and breaking apart until all the pieces, until they were nothing but a fine dust, until she could wipe everything clean with a sponge, to set the foundation anew, laying the aquamarine tiles in neat little rows, all tiny and blue, like things were supposed to be. Angel Falls. We worship at the banks of the Paracupovena, which means to fall from the highest point. But the men who come in khaki pants that stop just before the tops of their kneecaps call it Angel Falls, the tallest waterfall in the world. They stare upward toward the heavens with mouths open, hands shielding faces from the glare of the sun, hearing nothing but the roar of the water that beats against the rocks in a beautiful violence. They take pictures of it, of us, with tiny plastic cameras that click and grind like the buzzing of an insect. I want to dive into the depths of the Rio Gaia and tack these photos along the rocky bottom. I want to slowly let the cold water seep in through the corner of my mouth, fill up my lungs, weigh me down until I'm nothing but a memory. The ghost of me will continue to worship in the shadow of the angel, letting the spray blanket me in white. Noli, my older cousin on Mama's side, who just turned 16, she does not wait for the men to take her picture. Instead, while our palms are against the cool ground beneath the falls, our heads pressed into the dirt, where I can smell the beginning of the world, she is on her knees at the vista point, easing down the waistbands of khaki pants, humming the hymns, tasting the salt of the sea. She tells me it's the best way to make money, and money is the only true currency. I look at Noli and I wonder if she has ever been in love with any of these men. Sometimes I think she is in love with all of them, with every person that comes to the falls to take a piece of it away with them. They do not pray like we do, every morning as the water trickles down our backs, seeping from the base of our skulls, under arms, through the canals between knuckles. It saturates me, and I can feel the tide inside swell. The men there are not really looking at the falls. They see only the projection of lines across space, filling the void of their imaginations. They stand there, snapping pictures before moving on further downstream, on to the next miracle. Processing. What if we used razors and cut up wrists, or the tops of thighs, where it is meatiest, and the flesh quickly parts, and the blood coagulates in shiny, trembling bubbles, before the scars form like fresh graves. Or took needles to veins, the skeleton spine, the invertebrate attachment, pulsing in chemical compounds that we cooked over tinfoil, pulled from leftover sandwiches found in the back of the fridge, that fills us with a yellow pain that echoes through the lungs. Or slipped ropes around necks, feeling the tiny plies tickling our throats, the all-encompassing blackness and the stars prickling and moving into a burgeoning universe as blood vessels burst and our brains begin the slow atrophy toward anonymity. Or drink amber cocktails, chilled in small glasses that burn our throats, hollow out that space in the middle of the chest, fill it with rage and ambition and audacity. It's a slow death, this one, that keeps the belly warm but the mind weak, and all we can do is sustain the momentum. Or chose fingers, 2 little digits crammed down throats, setting the wheels in motion, until blue erodes our tooth enamel, scars the trachea like an impressionistic landscape, deprives the body of its most essential need like a mother's withholding milk. What if we treated ourselves this way, harboring our grief, turning it inward on itself in a quest for answers or control or an escape? What if we existed on a diet of loathing, born of deprivation, or maybe excess, but nothing granted when we needed it, when we were lost in the wilderness, when denial was our lifeline, keeping things afloat?